Hey everybody, happy Thursday. So today I'm doing obviously a different type of post than I typically do. I've been asked to do a video concept for quite a while, so here it is. And I think it's a little bit more personal because I'm bringing you obviously into my space. I'm opening up to you of how I would in person, and I want to kind of say out from the start of things is that I'm doing this video completely in one swoop on my iPhone, and I'm not good at editing for beans, and I just wanted to keep it genuine. This is how I talk to you if we were at happy hour drinking some margaritas, and just wanted it to be very me, very realistic, and not edited perfectly to certain standards. So yeah, I've been asked to do this. It's very personal and just kind of a fun topic. So really the topic today, as you obviously saw in the title, was that I'm doing a focus on 5 things that I've learned working in PR. And if you don't know what PR stands for, it means public relations. And why I'm bringing this up is I've been really hush-hush or a little bit more private on my career just because sometimes I don't feel like people want to learn that. And 2, I think for security purposes. But I've been asked so much on social media lately that it was something that made me excited that people are now wondering about PR because they're thinking like, hey, maybe I'd want to have this my career, or how did you get into it, or I know somebody that could be interested in this. So I wanted to share that because I love what I do, and it just didn't seem fair if I didn't share that, just because I love what I do and it makes me really happy. So as you know, Lashes and Layer blog really focuses on, hygiene products, cosmetics, and, obviously clothing of some sort. And really the 3 questions I get asked most of the time, whether it's on social media or in person, is, 1, who does your makeup? And then I say myself. And then I get asked what products I love to use or brands. And then I get asked, obviously, where do I shop, or where did I get this outfit? And I love doing that. And then I've been asked so much about my career that I was like, okay, it's time to talk about it. So a little background on kind of my experience within PR and where I went to school, things like this. So I have been at the same exact company now for 3 years. I just had my 3-year anniversary, and I love it because within PR there's very many different demographics, or I guess I would say segments. Maybe that's the right word to say is segments of PR. And what's great about my position is I kind of interweave into every single segment, and I'll jump into what that means in a second, which has been really cool. But anyway, so I've been at the same company now for 3 years, and where I went to school is actually in Los Angeles, California. I went to a school that the initials are FIDM. We pronounce it FIDM. But it's also the Fashion Institute of Design and Merchandising. So it has a huge focus on the fashion industry, which is fantastic. And what I majored in was really the business and the marketing side of things. And what I really learned was going to that school, and within my major is PR, and learning about press releases and learning about getting things, into the right hands of within marketing. You can utilize influencers and especially bloggers. I would say that's blown up within the last 5 years significantly. And so that's a whole nother marketing segment that you can focus on. Obviously magazines and websites and TVs and celebrity product placement. So it intrigued me that within PR, it is different every single day. You're not sitting still. You can never really feel comfortable, because there's always the next best thing that you can work on. So within PR, obviously there's so much, and I would say the segments, as I mentioned a little bit ago, would be if you wanted to focus more on press releases. So within press releases, you're obviously coming up with a story, whether it's a partnership, a collaboration, a new product launch, a celebrity sighting with your product. You want to get that out there. And so that is usually where you're sending that to, local magazines, local newspaper, local news, anything that you can to have that seen. That's where you're sending off to. But also within press releases, it's not just going to be local. You're going to have it go global, hopefully, and that's where you can send to the right sources. So maybe your expertise is within writing. Press releases are probably going to be right up your alley. But obviously there's more than press releases. So you can do a lot of desk sides with editorials. So that's meeting with editors of magazines and really pitching products, if that's what you are, is pitching a product. Or you can also pitch a service too. It's a little bit harder with the magazines, but you can actually tell your story, which obviously is fascinating. You want to make sure that your story really stands out compared to your competitors and compared to really what everybody else is doing within your industry. You can also, focus more on the production side of things. So that's TV shows that you see, that is movies that you're seeing, and, really getting that product placement in that way. Or you can do product placement through gifting or, celebrity seating. And that can be obviously, where you see, a model or a really well-known celebrity in a magazine. You see them wearing an awesome outfit, and then, that product's linked up. And, that's all seated. That a lot of the times what you see in magazines, they're really, they get to choose what they're wearing, but a lot of the times it's a business deal behind the scenes. And that's what I liked about PR is within the last, I would say 5 years, it's been getting this spotlight and people are interested about it. And I think it's because these bloggers are talking about it, which is awesome, because now these big companies are now, or even small companies, are having to have a budget set aside just for influencers. And I think that is so powerful and so exciting, because again, it's another element to market. But PR has been around for a very long time, and I think that's what people don't realize, is that it has been a career position for a very long time, just because it is marketing and it is getting, whether it's that brand or that story or that service, known to the masses. So within PR, the 5 things that I've learned while working in it for quite a while now, I'm going to have kind of organized into like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then I'm going to talk about the products that have helped me achieve, whatever that learning lesson has been, and that I would totally recommend. And if you're not even in PR, if you're not even looking into going to PR, not even thinking about marketing your business, that's fine, because these products might help you just in general too. So the first thing that I learned is that you're constantly and always connected. And by that, whether you're in an office or you work remotely like I do, you're always going to be connected through technology, because your career within PR is technology, because you're utilizing probably your phone through calling people constantly, your email definitely, and text messages. You're going to be, having meetings pop up, which I'll get into one of the other steps coming up. But you're always connected. And within PR, it's not a 9-to-5 job. So it's going to be really early mornings, sometimes really late nights, working weekends too, because things change. And, whether it's weather conditions, whether it's celebrity situations happening, launches happening, companies being sold, companies coming together, things are changing on a daily basis. So you could leave work on a Friday and Monday something is completely different, and you have to jump on that story as soon as possible. Otherwise, it's old news. So always being connected. I have a couple products that have helped me really protect or really help utilize specifically my phone and my laptop. So the first would definitely be a laptop case. So I am on the road all the time. I actually should say in a plane. I'm traveling a lot. So I always take my laptop, and with that, I need to have a case. And even though I have TSA PreCheck now, I don't have to take my laptop out when I go through security. I still like knowing it's safe in my carry-on. And within that, I have this Marc by Marc Jacobs laptop case. This is an oldie. I actually got this when I was in college, but I love it because it has a zip closure. It's padded, so it's going to be really safe for your laptop. And then it also has a fleece lining inside, so it's not going to get scratched up. And I got this at Nordstrom. I don't know if they have this exact same style anymore, but I'll certainly link below any of the laptop cases that remind me of this one. And then I would say this is really funny. It is a product that I just got on its bandwagon about a month ago. It is a portable charger. Honestly, I don't know why I didn't get onto this like way earlier than I did, because this thing is amazing. It's been my saving grace, especially when I was in New York Fashion Week about a month ago, because my phone would have been dead by 11 a.m. And what's great about it is, you have to charge it, but you use this plug-in when your phone's, getting really low or almost dead. You just plug it in, you turn the button on, it's activated. And you can go from a 2% to 100% within like a half-hour time frame. And it's great, especially if you're going to be in cabs or if you're going to be on, a road trip or whatever. This thing is awesome, and I highly recommend it. I got it at Nordstrom. It was like $45, but this is the brand Sonics, I think is how you pronounce it. Great, super cute colors that you can also do. So I know this is obviously a bit feminine. Great manly ones too. And then the third part I would say is I love caffeine. Like I said, there's some early mornings. Try not to be super coffee crazy. But I am. And so with that, I love to have obviously a very cute coffee mug, whether you're having hot or whether you're having cold. For me, I just like having it. I'm always on the road. I'm pumping because I need to have my A game face on all the time and, you know, be working 110%, giving it up my all, because honestly, if you miss an opportunity, there's most likely not going to be able to come back again. So A game all the time, especially with pitching. This is an old Alice and Olivia Starbucks collab that they did. I love it because it says little toot toot in the text. I will try to find it. Obviously, I know it's not available at Starbucks anymore, but I love this one. And then this Kate Spade one is just so darn cute, and it matches my necklace. But I like this one for anything cold, or even like breakfast smoothies, things like that. The next step that I'm going to talk about, sorry, I have it all written down so I don't forget for you guys. So I travel, like I said, a lot. I'm on the road, everything called travel season, where, you know, right now is crazy because it's about 90 days before the holidays, and this is where you want to get as many features as possible, whether it's within gift guides or, you know, the best duffel bags or the best makeup or, you know, the best places to travel to. Whatever you are, you want to have it highlighted right now, and you're wanting to make sure that you can track that ROI and that traffic, whether it's going to your website if you have a website, going to your store, or finding out how it's affecting your services. So right now is definitely travel season for me, which is really exciting. But within that, I'm wanting to be comfortable, and I'm wanting to have the right products for me and the quality products. So within that, the first one within traveling is the right carry-on. I have multiple different bags because I am definitely a bag lady. But within my carry-ons, I want to make sure I have an organized space. I can have a great place to put my passport. I have a nice and secure place to put, you know, my phone, my chargers, any kind of snacks, obviously my laptop, notebooks, planner, things like that. So I will certainly link my favorites down below. I have so many that I just didn't want to just like grab them in the video. But I'll certainly link them below. And then I would say second point within traveling is headphones. So within headphones, you obviously can put them on. If you're on the plane, you can download any noise, you can listen to music, fall asleep. But also it's great if you're in a big city, like I said, New York City, or you're in Los Angeles, you can put your headphones on, you can walk around, have a conversation on, and you're not hearing outside noise. So I will link a couple of my favorites down below as well. The third one I would say has definitely saved my feet and my legs, and that's Nike shoes. As much as I love high heels, walking around in high heels in an airport is not realistic, especially if you have meetings right after and you're having to catch a cab and like go immediately. So I live in my Nike shoes. What I love is that you can somewhat dress them up, or if you're in the airport, you know, you can quickly, you know, hide them in your carry-on as you're going into a meeting, and then swap on the right shoes to match your outfit. But highly recommend a really good pair of shoes. I do have a handful of what I call my travel shoes, just because I am on the go and I want to make sure I have at least 1 or 2 pairs with me at all times. And then, you know, I guess what I've already like done before is I've actually had a blog post that I focus on like my travel necessities. So I will link that below as well, because that kind of dives into like my favorite cardigans and my favorite yoga pants when I travel. That's just a highlight on that. But the third, and I would say probably the most important thing that I've learned being in PR is that you have to be proactive over being reactive. And what I mean by that is, whether you're working on a project that's not going to be launching for over 1.5 years, or you're working on something that's going to be immediately, you know, sent over and it's going to go live tomorrow, you have to be proactive, and you need to know what is going on at all times, what's trending, what is the newest fad, what is the newest celebrity that's great, who is going to help affect, you know, obviously your marketing plan. And that's what's really cool, is you're focusing on, like right now, I'm actually starting to focus on things that are happening in 2018, which is great, but then I'm also trying to make sure within these last 90 days of 2016 that I'm getting good hype as well. So it's very constant, it's, you know, different every day, your focus is always changing. So definitely being proactive over reactive. And when you're proactive, you're going to have these established relationships where people can count on you and they can rely on you even in a tight time, and I can tell you it's always going to pay off. And through that, I've been able to create these business relationships, actually into friendships as well, that are lasting. And whether that is with, like I said, editorials or venues or, whoever it is, even stylists, you're making that being like, hey, you know what, I'm here for you. Now you need to be there for me too during a crunch time. So that's definitely what I recommend. But how do you stay proactive within products? And me, for like my thing for sure is that you have to be organized, and you're gonna have a million things coming at you, and you can obviously have within your laptop and your phone hooked up to your calendar, and then you can obviously have those notifications. But I'm old school. I have to have a planner. I have to write it down, because if I don't, I feel like I'm gonna forget something. And I have the satisfaction where I like actually checking things off my to-do list. But this actual planner I got from HomeGoods. I have gotten planners from Kate Spade that I love. I've gotten ones from Paper Source. I've gotten ones from Bando. But I saw this one from HomeGoods, and I thought it was so darn cute, and it was actually really inexpensive. So I don't know if I can link this exact one. And I write so big that I needed a little bit more space available for me to do. So anyways, definitely a planner I recommend. Another thing that I'm really old school on is that I have to write actually physically in a notebook as well. I do obviously use emails all the time and text messages, things like that. But if you, like for me, if I ever have ideas, even if it's late at night, I like to write them in my notebook. And even if I don't jump on the concept until the next morning, at least I've written it down. So that helps me out. So I'll certainly link up my favorite planners and, my favorite notebooks. And something else that keeps me organized, like I said, you might have to travel at a last minute's notice. I have a passport holder. This one's from Henry Bendel. I got this, I think, like 2 or 3 years ago. Super cute. I love it just because, one, I don't have to be searching through my bag looking for my passport, because I usually have black colored, and the USA one is very dark navy. So I like that the pink does a cute pop for me. The fourth, I guess, kind of category within PR that I've learned is that networking is key. And you are gonna, like I said, you're gonna have these relationships, and hopefully they can flourish into friendships. But networking is who's gonna help you get to what you need done. And whether that's a press release, or it's a celebrity getting your product and then having it shot on a social media post or in a magazine. And so within that, within networking, you're obviously going to have business cards. And so I live literally with this on my side, and this is my business card holder. This one is from Kate Spade. I've had this one for about 3 years, and there's just a little bit of scratching on it, but honestly I use this almost every single day. So for how much I use it, and it looks this good, is awesome. I don't know how many cards it can hold in particular. I do always bring more business cards than what this thing can hold, but it's really sleek. I like it because it's going to keep your business cards secure. It's not going to have them bent. They're not going to get wet, hopefully, and they're all in the same, obviously, side. So when you go to hand it, it just looks professional. You're not having to switch your business card around. So I love this one from Kate Spade. And then I think what has been a really lasting impression that I've learned that I do a lot is thank you cards and really good stationery. So whether your company is willing to provide that for you, that's great. If not, I always go to HomeGoods or TJ Maxx or Target or Paper Source, and I just load up on whether it's just my initial or cute stationery that says thank you. But having something that you took the time and you actually hand wrote over doing a concept of an email that anybody can do really shows that you have a lasting impression. And a lot of times people like opening up mail that's not bills or notifications or something with work. They want to have it where it's like, wow, you impacted them, vice versa. So I definitely recommend, any type of thank you card or nice stationery that you can load up on. And besides PR, it's just good to have too in general. And the fifth part that is really, I guess, difficult because I can't link anything with it, but it is to have fun and to love what you do. And that's what's really cool within PR. I truthfully love what I do. It is my passion. And I don't have a dog right now, but everyone says they have a fur baby. I would say I have a work baby because I live and breathe for what I do. It's always changing, it's always constant, and it's very rewarding, and that's the best part. And you get to have some very fun experiences. And ultimately for me, I'm a very much a people person, and I thrive on being around energetic people. And within, you know, the PR industry, you are going to be around excited, you know, people who love to talk and plan and discuss the same interests you have. And that has been the best thing. So if you do have an interest in PR, I highly recommend looking into it, because it has been the most rewarding career position I've ever had in my life. And even though I'm still obviously in the beginning of my career compared to, you know, people my parents' age, I at least I can wake up every day and I know that I am in the right career, and I really truthfully can't see myself doing anything different than I am. And so if anybody else has any other questions, I know this is about a 20-minute video that's going on right now. You know, please feel free to ask me through social media. So I'm usually on Instagram or Snapchat, and I will have my handles below. Feel free at any time to ask, and it would be my pleasure. And I hope this helped out. I hope this was able to show you a little bit more of what I do, besides obviously blogging. The blog is so much fun for me as well, and it's so great to meet you all, and being able to connect, you know, outside of even the Chicago area, of how many people follow it and just want to learn about whether it's a foundation I use or a sweater that I'm wearing or what I do in my career. And so, yeah, thank you so much for, you know, listening to me ramble about, you know, the learning lessons within public relations. And I look forward to seeing you guys sometime next week with another blog post. All right, thanks.